What is your name, your title, and what inspired you to run for office?
Yes, my name is Alicia Rule, and I'm currently serving as your state representative. I ran for office originally because the parents around my children's baseball field were complaining about a similar problem over and over. And I reminded them that we have the ability and the responsibility to engage in our community to solve practical problems. So that is the same thing that's driving me today. I have a social work background. I see some of the challenges in front of us, and I'm really looking forward to being able to solve those challenges using my experience and background right here at home, rolling up our sleeves and getting to the work that needs to be done urgently.
What are you most proud of in your career?
You know, I feel proud of many things that I've done in my life, working in behavioral health and working with vulnerable people. And it's hard to pick one thing because whether it was working in child abuse in the early years, or helping, people exiting prison and doing reentry work, or doing government work, it all feels very rewarding to me. I enjoy and I really kind of feel like I'm made for service. And when I'm able to give back to my community, it's all very rewarding. So it's all the same work, whether it's working directly or in our community or, at a larger level on the policy level. It's all toward solving these really big challenges that we have in front of us with homelessness and addiction and mental health. I just want to help people's lives be better, and I love being able to do that.
The County Council has decided that the jail should be located in Ferndale. Do you agree? If yes, how will you get this project passed?
Yeah, I really do think it's very important that we get a new facility in order to be able to help people get the services they need while they are interacting with our criminal justice system. As is right now, we really have a crisis on our hands for public safety, particularly in our downtown, but it's everywhere. We've got folks who have a lot of high needs that are not being met, and they're victimizing other people. So whether that is organized retail theft or violent crime, these things are really impacting and causing a community trauma. So we have an obligation to step in and stop that from happening, to protect those that are not only victims now, but potential future victims. So I think it's really important. But I think it's important that we do it well. We have enough information and research to know that there are ways to be able to do this work that are not re-traumatizing, but they're actually healthy and helpful so that we can help people get better, go back out into the community and thrive. And I think we have a lot of room for improvement, but we simply can't do it without the facility. So I do support a better facility than we have now, and I certainly support moving forward with it.
Our community is one of the fastest growing in the Pacific Northwest, and affordable housing is one of the top concerns in our area. What kind of things can the county executive do to affect this? And how will you ensure our community is welcoming to all?
Yes, we do have an affordable housing crisis. We have partially a homelessness crisis that's very visible and cruel to watch. But we also have an affordability crisis for working people. So we need to build more houses. And not just houses, but it's also multiple kinds of housing. We need to get people in safe housing right away. We need to streamline our permitting processes. And we really need to take a close look at where we're going to do this building. There's no doubt about it. We're very clear that we need to have more housing available. It is completely unacceptable to allow people, as they are right now, to live literally in cardboard boxes on the sidewalk. There's nothing more important than getting folks out of the woods, out of the alleyways, living in really completely subpar conditions, unsafe conditions. So we have to work swiftly, quickly, with great purpose, and using lots of tools at the same time. I'm particularly looking at where we build, how we build, and doing it fairly quickly, and keeping those costs down in order to make it affordable.
In the last 3 years, the health department has nearly doubled in size and dramatically expanded its scope. This has led to some complex administrative challenges. For instance, the department has had a turnover rate of over 50%. Have we expanded the health department due to the pandemic, or is this the new normal? How will you set that department up for success?
Well, I'm really glad that you're talking about the health department because I want people to really understand the scope of what's happening in the health department. And all of these things we've been talking about, when we're talking about homelessness, mental health crises, addiction, all of these things land in the purview of the health department. So it makes sense that our most important crises and problems would have enough staff to be able to support it. It also makes sense that it's difficult to keep that staffing because it's really hard work. But it's even though it's difficult, this is what I've been doing my whole career as a social worker and running programs in the human services. I am very aware and very accustomed to doing with less. And I've been able to really get to outcomes and lead teams under really difficult circumstances. So I think partly what we want to do is make sure that all those staff that they're getting exactly what they need the tools to do their job and being held accountable for the work so that they're producing the outcomes that we need for our community. But you do that in a way that you're managing those folks really with a lot of encouragement and giving them tools and allowing them to do the work that they already really love to do and to thrive. And so I'm excited for that challenge. We need it. There's nothing more important right now than, again, going back to people being safe, people living right now currently in subpar conditions. We have to address those with bold action and do it very quickly.
Right now, the county and the small cities are having a vigorous debate around their urban growth areas as they attempt to accommodate the growing population squeezed out of Bellingham. What will you do to navigate this dispute?
Yes, well, the very first thing that I think I want to talk about is that we have to work together. Anytime that we're solving problems in our community here, we have to listen first and pay attention to the stakeholders who are trying to solve this problem. And that's something that I really pride myself in, that I can usually bring people together that have very unlikely positions and come out with outcomes that are really good and work for everybody. So that's what I intend to do in this role. Particularly on the urban growth boundaries, I do think we need to take a look at what we've been doing, and we have to ask the hard questions. We are now in a position where we are, I think many of us, looking at shared values that are very similar, but we have to look at how is it possible that we can hold two things at the same time that are important to us and navigate sophisticated, complex solutions to that? So for example, affordability and also prioritizing our climate goals. Doing that is harder work than picking one or the other, but it's really important that we do both. It is unacceptable for us to ignore the realities of climate change, and it is absolutely unacceptable that people are living on our streets. So we've got to be able to press forward, taking in all sides and working with more complex solutions than we have ever before.
There are a lot of different tools to tackle homelessness, but we don't have endless funding. What do you think is the most effective tool deserving county support? What is your top priority for tackling homelessness?
Yes. Well, we will have to do many things at the same time. That is very clear. But the one thing that I want to focus on is fully leveraging the available funds at the state and federal level. It is very clear to me that at the state level, as I've been working as a state representative and a legislator, that we've invested $1 billion, a billion with a B, in the Housing Trust Fund. As a county executive, it's my job and my goal to make sure that we get every penny that we can for our community from those available dollars. And I think that's a place that we can do better. But we do need to do multiple things at the same time. So we started some things. We've got some tiny homes going. We've got, kind of multiple things started. But the biggest thing for me is leveraging those state funds. I think we can do better on that.
With the continuing struggles facing local media and the impact that COVID has had on community events and public spaces, how do we come together as a community and combat the division we see online?
I love this question. Thank you for asking it. We have to intentionally build community. And if we can do that by getting people together face to face, I think that we will solve most of our problems. The problems that we're seeing now are problems that are playing out in neighborhoods, in families and friends, in real time, where people have forgotten how to get along. So it's very important for us to continue to work on funding things like mediation programs, but we also have to work proactively to bring people together. A key piece of this is revitalizing our downtown Bellingham. As it is right now, we don't have people coming and going the way that we used to, and downtowns are a vital part of the heartbeat of our community. And when our downtowns thrive, the rest of the community thrives too. That's our third place. Sometimes people call it the third place. It's not home, it's not work, it's that place where we meet up afterwards and socialize and get to know people, and we bump into one another. And all of the social science is very clear that as adults, we make connections and friendships when we bump into each other. So I want to just create a lot of opportunity for that. It's true for adults. It's also true for our youth. It's incredibly important for our youth. We've got to get them off the screens and back in person together.
Would you like to share a closing statement?
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I originally ran for office because I wanted to help my community, and nothing has been truer than that today. I'm excited about some of the bold changes that we've seen at the state and federal level. I think there's opportunity in front of us to do really complex systems change, and I think we can use that system change in order to really impact and change everybody's daily life. That's the kind of opportunity that's in front of us. We can't let it continue to be a challenge. As is, we have a public safety crisis. We have people being victimized. We have folks who are traumatized and using, that are addicted and using drugs in order to be able to heal, and they're dying. And they're dying at a rapid rate. There's no greater need than a sense of urgency around solving these problems. Every time I wonder, what are my big lofty goals? All I have to do is look outside and see that we have people literally living on our streets. It's unacceptable in the United States of America, and it's unacceptable in Whatcom County that we could walk outside and see even one person that's not housed in the living conditions that they are in. So I'm just really excited about that as an opportunity, because I know that we can solve these problems when we work together.